On my birthday, my girlfriend rushed off. Ex needs me, emergency. Don't wait up, she texted after taking the gift I'd given her. Understood, I replied. Then I packed all her things and sent them by courier to her ex's address, with a note, she's yours now. 3 hours later, her ex was angrily calling me because she was crying on his doorstep with suitcases, demanding he let her in since she had nowhere else to go. And I was being dramatic about her missing my stupid birthday for something actually important. When he refused, she called my mother, claiming I had overreacted and needed to grow up about sharing her time. Hey everyone! Before we jump into today's video, I need your help. We've noticed the channel is losing some traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can support us. It's quick, free, and it helps us keep bringing you awesome content. Your support means the world. Let's keep this channel growing together. Thanks so much. Now let's start the video. Hey Reddit, long-time lurker, first-time poster. This is going to be a long one, so buckle up. Names changed for obvious reasons, but everything else is 100% what went down over the last month and a half. Still can't believe this all happened, but I need to get it off my chest. TLDR at the bottom for the lazy ones. Background: who I am, who she is. So I, 32 male, working as a sales manager at a medical equipment company. Not saving lives directly, but I like to think the stuff I sell helps doctors do their thing. Make about $82,000 a year. Enough to afford a decent one-bedroom in the city, but not exactly rolling in cash. Been at the same company for 7 years. Slowly working my way up. Pretty normal, dude. Gym 3 times a week, play basketball with the guys on Thursdays, some gaming on weekends, visit my parents once a month. Nothing extraordinary. I've always been the reliable guy. The one who plans ahead, pays bills on time, remembers birthdays, all that boring adult stuff. My friends joke that I'm like an old man trapped in a 32-year-old body, but whatever. I like stability. Growing up with parents who fought constantly about money problems will do that to you. Dad eventually got his act together. He's an accountant now, ironically, but those early years left an impression. Enter Sarah, 27 female. We met at my friend Dave's housewarming about 3 years ago. She was gorgeous. That kind of effortless beauty that makes you wonder why she's even talking to you. Works part-time at this high-end boutique downtown, but her main career is being a lifestyle influencer. Around 14,000 followers when we met, now up to about 23,000. Not huge, but enough to get her free stuff and some decent brand deals. When I first saw her across the room, I honestly thought she was way out of my league. She was surrounded by people, laughing, the center of attention. Somehow we ended up talking about this weird cocktail Dave had made, and there was this instant chemistry. She gave me her Instagram instead of her number, red flag number 1 that I ignored, and we set up a date for the following weekend. The first year was amazing. Constant adventures, great chemistry. She was fun and spontaneous, everything my previous relationships weren't. She pulled me out of my comfort zone in ways I needed. Hiking trips I'd never have taken, restaurants I'd never have tried, people I'd never have met. For a while, it felt like she was adding color to a life I didn't realize was grayscale. She moved into my place after about 14 months together. That's when things started changing, slowly at first, then more noticeably. The emergencies with her ex Mike, 30 million, started small. A phone call here and there that she'd taken another room. Then it became texts at odd hours. Then actual meetups for coffee to help him through some stuff. I'm not the jealous type, and I believed her when she said he was just going through a rough patch and needed a friend who understood him. He's been having panic attacks again, she'd say. His therapist said having a familiar support person helps. Or, his mom is sick and he doesn't have anyone else to talk to about it. Always some crisis that only she could solve. But over time, a pattern emerged. Every time we had plans, especially important ones, Mike would have some crisis that only Sarah could solve. Birthday dinners, meeting my boss and his wife, a weekend trip I'd planned for months, suddenly canceled or she'd show up late because Mike really needed me. I started feeling like I was dating both of them. When it was just the two of us without her phone buzzing, things were still good. That's what kept me hanging on. We'd have these perfect days or nights where I'd think, see, this is why it's worth it. But those moments got fewer and farther between. I tried talking to her about it multiple times. The conversations always went the same way. Me: I feel like Mike's needs always come before our plans. Sarah: that's not fair. He's going through a really hard time. Me: it's been a hard time for 2 years now. Sarah: wow, so you don't want me to be there for a friend? That's controlling behavior, Jake. She'd get defensive, call me jealous, say I was trying to isolate her from her friends. The classic manipulation playbook. But I didn't see it clearly then. I just knew something felt off. Fast forward to 3 years in, and we were basically roommates who occasionally had sex. She was always on her phone, constantly posting on Instagram, and running to Mike's side whenever he snapped his fingers. I was paying 75% of the rent, even though she was making close to what I was with her brand deals. Her excuse was always that influencer income was unstable, so I needed to cover more of the fixed costs. You don't understand the pressure I'm under, she'd say when I brought up finances. I have to keep creating content, buying new outfits, trying new places, or I'll lose my followers. It's an investment in my future. Meanwhile, her side of the closet was exploding with designer clothes she wore once for photos, then never again. Her bathroom counter was covered in expensive skincare products sent by brands. She'd take weekend trips with her influencer friends that somehow I wasn't invited to. Looking back, the red flags were waving like it was a parade, but you know how it is when you're in it. You make excuses. You hope it gets better. You remember how good things used to be. Then came my birthday. I'd been looking forward to my birthday for weeks, not because turning 32 is special, but because it was a rare day where both Sarah and I had completely clear schedules. I'd taken the day off work, went to this fancy butcher shop and dropped $135 on premium ribeyes, bought all the ingredients for her favorite sides, and was planning a quiet dinner just us before meeting friends later. It was supposed to be perfect. I even cleaned the whole apartment that morning, bought fresh flowers for the table, the whole 9 yards. She'd been distant lately, always on her phone or rushing out for content creation, and I thought maybe this special dinner would help us reconnect. I was in the kitchen prepping everything, feeling good, music playing, when Sarah bursts in already dressed up. Full makeup, hair done, outfit that definitely wasn't for a quiet dinner at home. My heart sank before she even opened her mouth. "Hey babe, happy birthday," she says, barely looking at me, eyes glued to her phone. "Mike just texted. He's having a complete meltdown about some work thing and really needs me. I gotta run. Don't wait up, okay?" I just stood there, knife in hand, staring at her. "It's my birthday, Sarah. We've had these plans for weeks." She finally looks up from her phone, gives me this condescending little pout. "I know, and I'm really sorry, but he's in a really bad place right now. You understand, right? We'll celebrate tomorrow, I promise." What kind of work emergency requires my girlfriend instead of, I don't know, his coworkers? Or boss? Or literally anyone but my girlfriend on my birthday? I asked, trying to keep my voice level. She sighs dramatically, like I'm being the unreasonable one. "It's complicated. He got passed over for a promotion and he's spiraling. You know he has anxiety issues. Look, I don't have time to explain it all right now. I really need to go." Before I could even respond properly, she pecks me on the cheek and she's out the door. My phone buzzes less than a minute later. Text from Sarah. "X needs me. Don't wait up." Not even sorry or happy birthday in the text. Just that dismissive command. "Don't wait up." Like I'm some roommate she's informing of her plans, not her boyfriend of 3 years whose birthday she's ditching. That was the moment something in me just broke. A switch flipped. After putting up with this shit for almost 3 years, watching her run to this dude's side every time he snapped his fingers, I just replied, "Understood." And I fucking meant it. I stood there staring at that half-prepped steak, and this weird calm washed over me. You know that feeling when you finally had enough? When your brain just goes, "Nah, we're done here." It wasn't anger anymore. It was clarity. I put the food away, turned off the music, and walked into our bedroom. My bedroom, technically. My name on the lease. I pay most of the rent, even though she made almost as much as me from her sponsorships. Her side of the closet was bursting with stuff. Louis Vuitton bags, Louboutin heels, Lululemon everything, Sephora hauls still in shopping bags. All this expensive crap while I'm the one covering utilities because she's building her brand. A $2,200 Prada bag she'd bought last month was sitting on her dresser. The same month she told me she was a little short on rent and could only contribute $400 instead of her usual $800. The math wasn't mathing, as they say. I'd been ignoring the math for years, but it suddenly hit me. She was spending thousands on designer clothes while forgetting to transfer me rent money. I was subsidizing her Instagram lifestyle. I opened my Amazon app and ordered 3 large suitcases with same-day delivery. Thank God for Prime. While waiting, I took out every single one of her designer clothes and laid them on the bed. Every bag, every shoe, every ridiculously overpriced face cream. I found stuff with tags still on. A $400 dress she'd worn once for photos. Shoes that cost more than my first car. Makeup palettes still in their boxes because they were too pretty to use. I even found receipts, She'd spent over $1,200 at Sephora just last month. When the suitcases arrived, I started packing. Not throwing stuff in, I actually folded everything carefully, wrapped her jewelry in tissue paper, nestled her makeup palettes between sweaters so they wouldn't break. I'm not a monster. I even took pictures of the packed suitcases as proof everything was handled properly. Mike's address? Still in her Maps favorites on the iPad we shared. How convenient. I wrote a note. Since you chose Mike over me on my birthday, I thought your stuff would want to be with you. You two deserve each other. Don't contact me again. Called an urgent courier service. Cost me $175 but worth every penny. And watched them load up 3 years of her life. Handle with care, I told the driver. Very valuable cargo. Then, I sat down alone on my birthday, looking at my suddenly half-empty apartment, feeling lighter than I had in years. For a brief moment, I wondered if I was overreacting. Was this too extreme for one birthday ditching? But then I replayed the past 3 years in my head. All the canceled plans, the financial manipulation, the constant prioritizing of her ex over me, and realized this wasn't about just today. This was about a pattern that had been going on for years, that I'd been too blind to fully see. I changed all my passwords. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, even the iPad password. I ordered takeout from my favorite place. The one Sarah always complained was too unhealthy for her image. And for the first time in months, I felt at peace in my own home. 3 hours later, my phone explodes with an unknown number. Jake. It's Mike's voice, tense and annoyed. What the actual fuck, man? Sarah is standing outside my apartment with 3 huge suitcases, crying her eyes out. She says you kicked her out? I could hear her dramatic sobbing in the background. Classic Sarah performance. Did I kick her out, Mike? Or did she ditch me on my birthday because you had another emergency? I just helped her belongings catch up with her priority, you. Dude, you're being psychotic. She came over because I needed advice on a work problem. Must be a serious work problem to need immediate attention on a Tuesday night, I said. Funny how you're calling about luggage instead of solving this urgent crisis? Look, you can't just pack up someone's stuff and send it away. That's insane behavior. You know what's insane, Mike? Having a girlfriend who runs to her ex every time he snaps his fingers. Having my birthday dinner ruined because you apparently can't handle basic adult problems without her. That's insane. She can't just stay here, he hissed, lowering his voice. I have a girlfriend now. Wait, what? So your emergency was what exactly? Needed my girlfriend's advice on how to handle your actual girlfriend? It's complicated, he mumbled. Sarah was shrieking in the background now about her thousands of dollars of stuff, and how I better not have damaged anything. She's not on my lease, Mike. She left. I forwarded her mail, so to speak. She made her choice. You deal with it. I hung up and blocked his number. The silence in my apartment felt amazing. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. I wasn't angry or sad, just free. My phone immediately started blowing up with calls and texts from Sarah. I put it on silent and slept better than I had in months. The next 72 hours were like psychological warfare. After blocking Mike, Sarah unleashed hell. 42 texts ranging from, "How could you do this?" to, "I'm calling the police for theft." Some highlights. "Jake, please answer me. I can't believe you did this. My stuff better all be there. You're going to regret this when I tell people what you did. Please, baby, I'm sorry. Can we talk? I'm literally stranded with nowhere to go. This is illegal what you did. I'm calling the cops if you don't let me back in right now." 17 voicemails that went from crying to screaming to fake sweet in seconds. "Jake, please, I was just helping a friend." Sob. "You absolute psycho. My stuff better be okay." Scream. "Baby, I know I messed up, but we can work through this. Remember how good we are together? Remember Cabo last year? We were so happy. I miss you so much right now." Sweet. "Jake, I'm literally sitting in a Starbucks with all my stuff. Mike's girlfriend is freaking out. I have nowhere to go. Is that what you wanted? For me to be homeless? After 3 years together?" Guilt trip. Then the social media barrage started. Vague Instagram stories. When someone you trusted shows their true colors, with sad selfies in what I recognized as Mike's bathroom. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hurt you the most. Igor betrayed. Having to start over with nothing but still keeping my head up, Igor strongwoman. Each post carefully crafted to make her look like the victim without any actual details that could be disputed. Her followers were eating it up. "OMG, what happened, girl? Who hurt you? I'll fight them. You deserve so much better. This is why I have trust issues. Men ain't shit." Then she called my mom. My mom. Telling her I'd snapped and thrown her out with nothing but the clothes on her back. Mom, bless her, just said, "That doesn't sound like my son. Maybe you should reconsider your choices, dear." Mom later called me laughing about it. She really thought I'd believe that nonsense. I raised you better than that. Her sister Jenna, 29F, who I always got along with, called next. "Jake, what the hell happened? Sarah's telling everyone you went nuts and threw all her stuff on the street." I explained exactly what went down. Jenna sighed deeply. "Look, I know how Sarah can be, but shipping all her stuff to Mike's place? His girlfriend Kayla is apparently losing her mind. Not my circus, not my monkeys anymore," I replied. "She prioritized Mike on my birthday. I just helped the rest of her life catch up with her decision. Jake, she's at a Starbucks right now with 3 suitcases. Mike kicked her out after Kayla threatened to leave. She has nowhere to go." The entitlement was unreal. "She makes $65,000 from her Instagram deals alone, Jenna. She can get a hotel, or call one of the dozen guys always commenting hard eyes on her posts. That's not fair. You know most of that money goes back into her content creation." Content creation? You mean shopping sprees she photographs? Fancy restaurant meals she posts? Trips I partly funded? Forgive me if I'm not sympathetic. She's my sister, Jake. I have to try to help her. I understand that. But maybe helping her means not enabling her behavior for once. Maybe she needs to face consequences. Jenna tried guilt, reason, even offered to mediate. I stood firm. She eventually hung up, frustrated but, I think, secretly understanding. The texts from mutual friends started pouring in too. Half of them believed Sarah's version that I'd lost it and thrown her out without warning. The other half knew Sarah well enough to be skeptical, but still thought shipping her stuff was extreme. Only my closest friends, the ones who'd watched me bend over backwards for her for years, fully supported me. My buddy Chris texted, "Damn, bro, you finally grew a spine. Proud of you." Dave, the friend whose party we'd met at, called me directly. "Dude, Sarah's telling everyone you abused her, like physically." "What? That's complete bullshit, Dave. You know me." "I know, man. I told her to stop saying that shit. It's not cool. Just wanted to give you a heads up that she's escalating." This wasn't just a breakup anymore. This was character assassination. On day 4, my doorbell rings at 7 a.m. It's Kyle, my building's maintenance guy. "Dude, your girlfriend's downstairs causing a scene in the lobby, telling Morgan at the front desk you stole her stuff. Security's about to call the cops." I threw on clothes and went down. Sarah was in full meltdown mode, mascara-streaked face, designer sweatpants, ironic, screaming at poor Morgan who looked terrified. "Where's my stuff, Jake? You had no right." She spotted me and lunged forward like she was going to hit me. "Sarah, everything you owned in my apartment was carefully packed and sent to where you chose to be on my birthday. I have courier receipts and delivery confirmation. Mike signed for everything. I need to come up and check. You probably kept my jewelry. My Cartier bracelet is missing. Your name's not on my lease. You have no legal right to enter. If something's truly missing, file a police report. I have time-stamped photos of everything packed." I didn't, but she didn't know that. Her face changed. That calculating look I'd seen before when she was scheming. "Fine. Then I'll tell the police you've been hitting me. We'll see who they believe." Morgan gasped behind the desk. I smiled calmly. "Security cameras in the lobby, elevator, and hallway, Sarah. Want to try again with the false accusations?" I pulled out my phone. "In fact, let's call the police right now. I'd be happy to show them the footage of you threatening to make false domestic violence claims. I'm sure they'd be very interested." She paled visibly. Making false reports is a crime, and she knew it. The building manager arrived and threatened to call the police for trespassing if she didn't leave immediately. She stormed out, screaming she wasn't done with me. That night, I changed my locks and installed a Ring doorbell. Cost me $340, but peace of mind? Priceless. I also called a lawyer friend who sent me a formal cease and desist letter template regarding harassment and defamation. I modified it and emailed it to Sarah, CCing her parents, whose emails I had from past holiday arrangements. The email was cold and professional. "Sarah, your behavior constitutes harassment. Any further attempts to enter my building, contact me, or spread false information about me will result in legal action. I have documented all communications and have video evidence of your threats to make false domestic violence claims. Any items you believe are missing should be addressed through proper legal channels with specific documentation of ownership." Her dad, who I'd always suspected saw through her dramatics, replied to me privately, "Jake, I'm sorry it's come to this. We're trying to talk sense into her." I felt a little bad for her parents. They were good people who had somehow raised this entitled hurricane of a human being. Her dad had always been kind to me, helped me fix my car once, never bought into Sarah's constant drama. I replied to him, I appreciate that, sir. I never wanted things to end this way, but I couldn't continue in a relationship where I was consistently disrespected and manipulated. I wish you and your family well. He sent back just, understood. Take care of yourself. For a brief moment, I thought maybe this would be the end of it. Sarah would realize she'd crossed too many lines, lick her wounds, and move on. I should have known better. A week later, Sarah went nuclear. She couldn't get to me physically, so she attacked my reputation. First came the Instagram tearful confessional. I've been silent about the abuse I've endured because I was scared, but I can't stay quiet anymore. She claimed I was controlling, that I monitored her friendships with males, and exploded with rage when she tried to help friends. The video was a masterclass in manipulation, voice quivering, a single perfect tear rolling down her cheek, carefully crafted pauses for dramatic effect. She never directly accused me of physical violence, but heavily implied it with phrases like, I lived in fear, and I never knew what would set him off. Then the GoFundMe. Help Sarah restart after escaping abusive relationship. Goal: $15,000. Description claimed I'd stolen her irreplaceable family heirlooms and designer collection worth over $30,000. Her followers ate it up. The few who questioned the story, didn't you just post that $400 spa day last week? Had their comments deleted. Her influencer friends rallied around her, resharing her post with supportive messages, further spreading the lies. One particularly annoying fitness influencer guy, who'd always had a thing for Sarah, posted a long rant about men who abuse women, with obvious references to me. Then she went after my job, called my boss claiming I'd been using company equipment to monitor and harass her. Thank God I'd already given my boss a heads up about the breakup and her potential for drama. He just told her, this sounds like a personal matter. Please don't call this number again. She tried calling HR next, but they gave her the same response. Professional bridges. Unburned. The wildest part? She actually showed up at my parents' Sunday dinner. Just walked in like nothing happened. They never changed their locks, and Sarah knew their schedule. Mom and Dad were too shocked to kick her out immediately. Jake has been spreading horrible lies, she sobbed to them. I just need to get my grandmother's jewelry back. It's all I have left of her. Dad, always the calm one, just said, Sarah, Jake told us exactly what happened, including how you left him on his birthday for another man. I think it's time for you to leave. When she tried to protest, he simply said, now please, in that quiet voice that even scared me as a kid. As she was leaving, Dad called after her. And Sarah, if you ever falsely accuse my son of abuse again, we'll be pursuing legal action. My golf buddy is the best defamation attorney in the state. Dad, the fucking MVP. The smear campaign continued online. She posted old photos of bruises from a skiing trip, conveniently cropped to remove the mountain backdrop, implying I'd caused them. Created a whole fake narrative about how I'd isolated her from friends and controlled her finances. Literally the opposite of reality. I stayed completely silent on social media. Didn't defend myself, didn't engage, didn't give her any ammunition. Just documented everything for potential legal use. Her GoFundMe stalled around $2,300, mostly from her family and close friends, I suspect. Far from the $15,000 she was aiming for. I was starting to feel like the worst was behind us when something unexpected happened. About 3 weeks after the Great Suitcase Exodus, as my buddies were now calling it, I got an interesting message on LinkedIn of all places. It was from Kayla, Mike's girlfriend. Jake, I know this is weird, but can we grab coffee? There's something you should know. We met at a cafe far from Sarah's usual haunts. Kayla was actually cool. Works in graphic design, smart, way too good for Mike. I left him, she said immediately after we sat down. Sarah moved into his place after the suitcase incident. They're officially back together. I shrugged. Good riddance to both of them. That's not why I wanted to meet. She hesitated, then pulled out her phone. Sarah's been running her mouth about you, and it didn't add up. Mike finally admitted she's been manipulating both of you for years. Turns out, Sarah had been sleeping with Mike our entire relationship. Those emergencies, hookups, she'd been playing us both, telling Mike I was just a stable guy to help with rent, while telling me he was just a needy friend. He showed me their text history, Kayla said, sliding her phone across the table. She would literally leave your place to go to his, then text him laughing about what an idiot you were for believing her. I scrolled through screenshots, feeling sick but also validated. The gaslighting over the years had made me doubt my own instincts. Messages from Sarah to Mike. OMG, he actually believes I'm just coming to help you, lol. Just told Jake I need to help you with job stress. If only he knew what kind of stress relief I'm actually providing. He's paying for dinner tomorrow, so I'll have to go home for a bit, but I'll make an excuse around 9. His mom asked when we're getting married. As if. Almost done convincing him to co-sign on a car loan, then we can really have some fun. There were dozens like this, spanning our entire relationship. Every special occasion, every time she'd been helping Mike, she'd been laughing at me behind my back. There's more, Kayla said. The GoFundMe? She's scamming people. That irreplaceable jewelry she accused you of stealing? She pawned it last year for a Coachella trip. The designer collection? Half of it is fake from her China Connect. Kayla had screenshots of everything. Sarah bragging to Mike about her scams, admitting the abuse claims were lies, even planning how to milk this breakup for followers. Why are you showing me this? I asked. Because what she's doing is wrong, Kayla said simply, and because she tried to ruin my relationship too. She told Mike I was cheating, tried to convince him I was mentally unstable. She's toxic, and she needs to be stopped. I had my lawyer friend review everything and draft an official cease and desist letter regarding the false accusations. Attached were Kayla's screenshots and the courier receipts. Sent it to Sarah, her parents, and the GoFundMe legal department. The GoFundMe was taken down within hours. Sarah privated her Instagram, but I wasn't done. I sent the same package of evidence to the boutique where she worked. They valued their reputation too much to keep someone publicly scamming people. She lost her part-time job within days, then anonymously tipped off the IRS that a certain influencer wasn't reporting her brand deal income. Sarah had bragged for years about getting paid under the table to avoid taxes. Influencers should never accept payment through friends and family on PayPal, she told her followers once. Always use goods and services, unless you don't want to pay taxes on it. Then it's our little secret. She'd actually posted this publicly. Moron that she is. The house of cards collapsed fast. The aftermath. 2 days ago, I got a text from a new number. It's Sarah. Please. They froze my accounts. I can't make rent. Mike kicked me out after I couldn't contribute. Just need $2,000 to get through the month. I'll pay you back. I sent back one word. Understood. Then I blocked the number. Yesterday, she showed up at my building again. Security called up. I declined to see her but watched on the lobby camera as she begged the guard to let her up. He has to help me. I have nowhere to go. The guard, who remembered the previous scene, just shrugged. Not his problem, ma'am. You don't understand, she cried. My accounts are frozen. My followers are turning on me. He owes me. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the premises. Can you at least tell him I'm sorry? Please, just tell him I need to talk to him. I'll pass along the message, the guard said, clearly not intending to. As she was escorted out, I could see her mascara running down her face. Designer bag now replaced with a canvas tote, the influencer facade crumbling in real time. I closed the security app and turned back to my date. A woman I'd met at a cooking class who actually has her own place, her own money, and has yet to have a single emergency with an ex. Life's good, Reddit. Sometimes you have to let the trash take itself out, and sometimes you have to help it along with a little karma. Quick update since so many of you asked. Sarah ended up moving back with her parents in the suburbs. Her influencer career is basically dead. Turns out when you lose your fancy apartment backdrop and designer wardrobe, it's hard to maintain the lifestyle content. Her follower count dropped by 8,000 in a month. The IRS audit is apparently still ongoing. Her dad messaged me once to say they had no idea about the tax evasion and were deeply disappointed in her. Mike and Sarah lasted exactly 17 days officially living together before he kicked her out. According to mutual friends, she expected him to completely support her financially, and he wasn't having it. Apparently, she tried the same emergency trick on him with another ex, and he finally saw the pattern. Kayla and I have actually become friends. Nothing romantic. We both need a break from relationships. But it's nice to have someone who understands exactly what we went through. We grab coffee every couple weeks and laugh about the bullet we both dodged. I saw Sarah once more, unexpectedly. Was at the grocery store and spotted her in the checkout line. She looked different. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, wearing normal clothes instead of her usual carefully curated outfits. She was using food stamps to pay. Our eyes met briefly, and I saw a flash of something. Embarrassment? Anger? Before she quickly looked away. I just continued with my shopping. No satisfaction, no gloating, just nothing. She'd become irrelevant. As for me, the apartment feels bigger. My bank account is healthier. I've reconnected with friends I didn't realize I'd been neglecting. Started taking a photography class I'd been putting off because Sarah always said it was boring. Turns out, I'm not half bad at it. The new girl I mentioned? We're taking things slow, but she's refreshingly straightforward and financially independent. First time she offered to split the check, I almost fell out of my chair. When she had a genuine work emergency, she actually called to apologize for canceling our plans and suggested an alternative date right away. The bar is literally on the floor, but it feels amazing to be with someone who respects my time. Most importantly, I've learned to trust my gut again. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't let anyone make you think you're crazy for noticing red flags. Thanks for all the support, Reddit. This community helped me more than you know. TLDR, girlfriend of 3 years ditched me on my birthday for her ex. I packed all her stuff and sent it to his place. She went nuclear with lies and manipulation, but karma and the IRS eventually caught up with her. Now, living my best life. Common questions, responses. Isn't sending her stuff away illegal? According to my lawyer friend, no. She wasn't on the lease, had no legal right to the property, and I didn't destroy or steal anything. I simply delivered her belongings to an address she frequently visited. The courier had a signed delivery confirmation. Why didn't you just break up with her like a normal person? Fair question. Looking back, it was extreme. But after 3 years of manipulation, gaslighting, and watching her run to this guy every time he called, something in me just snapped. Mental health professionals call it an extinction burst, a final dramatic response when you've been pushed too far. Did you really need to report her to the IRS? I wouldn't have if she hadn't tried to destroy my reputation and career with false abuse allegations. Actions have consequences. Don't accuse someone of abuse. Try to get them fired and expect them to protect you from your own tax fraud. Do you feel bad about any of it? Honestly? Number I was manipulated for years. She cheated our entire relationship. She tried to destroy my reputation with false accusations. The only thing I did was pack her stuff neatly and send it where she chose to be. Everything after that was just her facing the consequences of her own actions. Edit. Thanks again for all the awards and supportive comments. This blew up way more than I expected. For those saying this is fake, I wish it was. Dealing with a manipulative partner is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. To those going through something similar, there's light at the end of the tunnel, I promise.